First News at 6 starts right now.
In Bismarck right now, flakes still falling. Looks like the snow will continue for the next few hours.
And I've already shoveled my walk twice, and I may have to do it a third time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, you did change the oil in your snowblower, but you didn't need to use it.
No,
yet,
it wasn't
right?
deep enough to really bother.
And it's heavy, too.
Heavy snow. I tried that with the push, the Dakota blade, right?
Yeah.
Try to push that. It's a lot of weight with that snow, which means it might take longer to melt. But now you're off the hook on Christmas lights for at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Good. I'll get another chance.
So you get another chance, maybe around Thanksgiving, Alan. But what's going on right now throughout the area? You're right, because there is more snow and plenty more on the way here because we've got yet another disturbance coming in from Wyoming and South Dakota. But Sky Tracker Doppler radar, again, a lot of action going on here. Now, it's not snowing steadily everywhere, but you kind of see the nature of what's happening with those darker blues once again approaching the Magic City here with Minot getting more snow. Bismarck, we've had flurries, a little bit of an intensification here past hour, but then we get a break, but then there's more down in South Dakota moving in our direction here over south central North Dakota. Dickinson, much the same fashion here. Williston, we've got more snow back into portions of eastern Montana. So really the entire first warm viewing area with pockets of snow, but more rounds are on the way. This might be the last one presently here in Wyoming, western South Dakota, around the Black Hills. That's moving toward the northeast here, and that means that intensification will actually increase here next couple of hours and fill in all the areas where we don't have snow now. We likely will. So we're not done, and the accumulation factor is going to continue, no doubt about that. So we've got snow all over in Minot right now. We do have snow coming down, but not heavily, nor do we have any areas in the viewing area with real heavy snow, but mostly light right now. 23 degrees in Minot, a northwest wind here at 17 miles per hour. So a little bit of blowing snow, especially in open areas. Snowing again in Williston this afternoon into the evening, where we have 18 degrees and again some snow blowing around, but mostly in open areas. A lot of snow reports. I'm going to get into more of these later on, but south of Dickinson here, about 16 miles south of town, 12 inches of snow, so right at 1 foot. Got Harvey at nearly 11 inches of snow. Again, Dickinson reports of about 7, 8, even 9 inches. Botno at 8.5 with Burlington. Meanwhile, in Bismarck, 3.8. So I think just over 4 inches. That was a couple of hours ago. And Mandan probably also closer to 4. But more accumulation is on the way. Emmeline Ivy enjoying this wintry mix, perhaps. Take it away, Emmeline.
Yeah, that's right, Kevin. I feel like I need goggles right now because these flakes are falling directly into my eyes. But I can tell you, it looks like a winter wonderland out here. But the catch is, it's not winter just yet. We still have almost 2 months left of fall. So I sat down with two of our favorite meteorologists to talk about just why the flakes are falling so early and how often this happens. People across the state are already dealing with the winter weather, whether they want to.
It's kind of interesting and nice.
I like the cold.
Or not.
I'm just not ready for it to be here. I mean, last week I felt like we had some sun and I was hoping it would be a later start to the winter.
But the thing is, it's still fall, and the remnants of autumn are all around us, peeking through the snow.
It's certainly not unprecedented.
So how often do the flakes fall early? National Weather Service meteorologist John Paul Martin has worked out the formula.
October 2005, major winter storm over western and northern North Dakota. October 2013, October 2019, and here we are, October 2023. So on average, North Dakota is impacted about once every 6 years from a big October snowstorm.
And that premature, frosty, fluffy powder comes down a little differently than typical winter storms. Because temperatures are warmer during fall flurries, it creates a rain-snow line.
Places like Bismarck did start out as rain last night and then changed over to snow. Versus a January storm, it's light and fluffy snow. This one's a little bit heavier and wetter.
While some like the early influx, there's good news for those who don't. Martin says when there's an early snowfall, there's typically a warmer, drier winter to come. And I don't know about you guys, but I definitely take that as good news. But despite the snow, the activities don't stop. Bella Craft is joining us live now with more on the employees who are braving the cold. And you know what, Bella, I think I actually saw you out there at the corner of State and Calgary streets earlier today.
Yeah, Emmeline, if you were one of those unfortunate souls out driving today, you probably did. I was on that corner construction site talking to 2 employees who were just finishing up some wiring on a new traffic signal. Now, despite all the snow and the cold and the wind, they were in good spirits and they gave me an update on the project. State Street has been a hotbed for construction this summer, but on Thursday, there were only 2 people left outside working.
Lonely, maybe? No, we're used to it now.
This early snow froze the few city construction projects left in Bismarck. The good news, they're only missing some finishing touches.
We don't bank on having good weather in late October and in November, and so the contractors knows that, and that's why we try so hard during the summer months.
Larry and his coworker Cody were bundled up, but busy completing the wiring for the last 9 new traffic signals on State Street. They're hoping to get everything done before Christmas, but the weather is posing challenges.
Because it's cold and it's wet, and it's hard to grip things and tighten things. So it'd be more ideal to do this stuff in the fall, but that's not possible.
Projects on State Street and the intersection of Washington and Divide are just missing electrical components.
Whether it's a street lighting project or a traffic signal project, that those components really just haven't arrived until now.
Though parts might have been back-ordered, clearly nothing, not even snow, is stopping Larry and Cody.
No, I'm not cold. Not yet. We will be later today. Right, we're definitely not having a ball.
New developments still need concrete poured for sidewalks and driveways, and there are little things like grass seeding. In Bismarck, I'm Bella Craft reporting for your news leader. Larry said he was expecting to wrap up his work around 3 today and doesn't think he'll be outside tomorrow or Saturday. Now, construction is not the only industry in North Dakota that is being affected by the snowstorm. Michael Anthony is live in Williston to tell us more. Mike, I heard you got the chance to speak with some egg producers in northwest North Dakota today. What did they have to say?
Well, Bella, I'm personally not a fan of this snow, but there's a lot of people that are a fan of this snow, and it's just a mixed opinion depending on who you talk to, and that also includes our wonderful egg producers out there. I had a chance to speak to one of them, Titus Stenberg, a rancher out in McKenzie County. He told me he estimated around 6 inches of heavy, wet snow during the first wave yesterday. He says he's a fan of winter and snow, while acknowledging the challenges that come along with it. He said it was a drastic shift from the temperatures a few days ago, but he'll take the moisture.
It may have been easier if it came in the form of rain, but it's nothing we can't handle as North Dakotans, so we'll just take it as it comes and we'll make it through.
Fortunately, Stenberg's cattle is accounted for and enjoying some hay bales today. He said cattle getting lost and delayed harvests are some of the issues that others in the region could be facing. Now, things were pretty clear here in Williston just before we went live. Now we got a constant fall of flakes right now. We expect that to continue, as Kevin said. So we'll pass it back to you, Monica and Alan, back in the warm, cozy KFYR studio.
And we are glad to be warm and cozy in here. Dickinson Public Works is also sending crews out to keep the streets clear. Sarah Berlinger spoke with the interim Deputy Public Works Director to find out how they're handling the weather.
The interim director says they were prepared for this weather event and there were only minor hiccups with moving snow. Aaron Prowse says there were only several truck issues this morning and they had to take a brine truck in for repairs after only several hours on the roads. Prowse says brine breaks down the ice and snow faster than salt and they switched to brine several years ago for snow events. He says they are focusing on keeping main roads, emergency routes, and areas around schools clear, and at this point don't plan on working in residential areas.
Our staff will put in a pretty long day today. There will be a 12 to 16 hour day. A lot of them, I believe, came in at about 3:30 this morning, and they'll go as long as we have to. More than likely, we'll staff somebody full-time through the night.
Prowse says roads are very icy, so it's important to give these plows and trucks enough space to get the job done. In Dickinson, I'm Sarah Berlinger reporting for your news leader.
Coming up, normally student teachers wouldn't be in charge in the classroom, but desperate times have pressed them into service. We'll see how they're doing.
Dickinson, your live look here. Some light snow continuing, 19 degrees and still looking for impacts into the night, but conditions improving, but still cold next few days.
Teachers are essential, but with the nationwide shortage, they can be hard to hire. Maya Fleck has more on how Bismarck schools are filling positions with pre-service teachers.
For 7/8.
Steve Dora is leading this classroom as teacher of the record, even though he's still a student teacher.
Pretty nervous about it right away, but as I started to kind of think a little bit more about it, I was very, very grateful to be given this opportunity, and it meant a lot to me that they, trusted me to obviously do this position and to teach.
The decision came after Governor Doug Burgum approved a request from the Education Standards and Practices Board to allow students to act as teacher of the record in districts that are facing shortages.
Hiring struggles that I think across the state and maybe across the nation that we're facing, I think it gives an opportunity that we can bring people in when we're struggling to hire.
Dora has support from the principals, an instructional coach, a mentor, and he says support from everyone in the school.
I was most excited just to have my own classroom, I think. I subbed for, a number of years, and it was always hard, not kind of having a place that felt like was your own. There you go.
The students have known Mr. Dora
Fantastic.
from his other roles at the school and say it was a natural fit.
I feel like Mr. Dora always inspires us to be who we can be and just gives us an inside view on all the things we're learning, and it's very nice that we know him.
That I can automatically split it in half.
Right now, there are 3 pre-service teachers in Bismarck schools. In Bismarck, I'm Maya Fleck, reporting for your News Leader.
And Governor Doug Burgum has also put together a teacher retention and recruitment task force to address the chronic teacher shortage.
Well, turning again to the weather, how soon do we get the all clear, Kevin?
It's going to be tomorrow by mid-morning. All the snow is going to end. It's this evening. We continue, especially right through the heart of North Dakota, at a diagonal from the southwest corner of the state right into the northeast. Highest impacts from this winter storm. Again, a lot of snow-covered roads, not a lot of wind. Fortunately, that's working in our favor here, but additional snow. How much more can we expect here? That darker blue up and down 83 to the east here, at least 4 inches as an overall average, but a lot less farther toward the west here. Still accumulation, but again, we're approaching the back end of this system. So now I'm thinking about 2 to 4 for Bismarck-Mandan as the snow continues to come down. We'll actually pick up in intensity next few hours. Minot 1 to 3 along with Williston, Dickinson about 2 to 4, right in line with Bismarck-Mandan. Jamestown a bit more, being farther toward the east here at 3 to 5 inches, and Harvey at 3 to 5 as well. Bono at about 1 to 3. Bowman, you're probably looking at a couple of inches as well. Again, that next system is approaching the next few hours. So we've got widespread snow going through the mid-evening time frame, but look at this midnight snapshot. We're still seeing snow, but starting to let up here in the southwest corner of the state, and it continues to sweep away toward the northeast, allowing for that snow to end. A few flurries remain, and in fact, just given the wind trajectory off of the Big Lake here, I think we might have some lake effect snow showers from Lake Sakakawea going through tomorrow, perhaps into the afternoon, with a relatively warm open body of water with above temperatures well below freezing. So lake effect snow is a possibility, maybe somewhere north of Bismarck-Mandan, downstream of the Big Lake. Otherwise, high pressure moving in. Now that means it's going to be very cold here for tomorrow into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In fact, below freezing likely the rest of the month. So what are we doing here? Yeah, snow on the ground, but not enough to get the snow blower out, but enough for the lawnmower. Yeah, kind of a mixture here as seasons are crossing over here in Sterling, and quite an interesting sight here, how the snow piling up on outside decking here. Minot Rick Craig snapping that Sky Spy photo, and this one from Elaine in Zap. Again, all the furniture here outside covered with that blanket of snow. Kids, are they having a good time? I don't know, maybe not, but snow day here in Richardson. Sky Spies, thank you so much for all these photos. Great to see see. Many more at skyspyphotos.com. Again, I'm looking at what's happening here in Wyoming, western South Dakota, the next in a series of waves moving through. This is the third and final one here. So snow intensification more widespread going into the evening. We're not done with this system yet, but after midnight conditions begin to improve. Our temps are quite cold, no doubt. 17 degrees right now in Williston, 26 in Bismarck, Mandan, right at freezing with snow in Jamestown, 32 in Mobridge, and that north wind, some blowing snow now. So especially in open areas, so be mindful of that going through the evening time frame, but at least we don't have a blizzard. And very low wind chills approaching 0 above. All right, or 0 degrees or just above. Meanwhile, yeah, it's going to be cold the rest of this month, even Halloween. Highs near 25, so lows could be in the single digits. Costumes, will we even notice all those heavy coats on? Hard to tell.
Yeah, I know. Trunk or treat may be the way to go.
That's right. Maybe
Happens
this
so
year.
often.
Thanks.
Well, up next, Kurt and his crew coached their final youth football game last weekend. JT was on hand for their last kickoff. And for our KUMV viewers, John Cole visits with a Lady Teton who is busy playing sports year-round.
With your first News at 6 Sports, here's Lee Timmerman.
Doing the fundamentals correctly is the foundation of any successful football team, from young kids to the NFL. Kurt O'Neill and his assistants have been teaching the basics of the game for a long time, and last weekend was their final game. JT Faribault has the story.
A quarter of a century is a long time. That's more than enough time for a kid to learn to crawl, walk, and talk. More than enough time for a kid to learn the fundamentals of a sport, play it in high school, in college, and even the professional level. After 25 years of coaching the Broncos in the Bismarck Youth Football League, Kurt O'Neill and some of his crew are hanging up their whistles and clipboards.
25 years ago, I looked in the Bismarck Tribune and there was an ad for volunteer youth coaches for football, and I thought, hey, I'll go give it a try, something fun to do, just try it out for a year. Well, here we are 25 years later.
A lot has changed in the 25 years that Kurt's been in charge of the Broncos, but his philosophy has stayed the same.
Football emulates life. Adversity, life's full of adversity, I don't care who you are. If we can take and practice that out here, how to deal with adversity and how to approach that, that's our goals. We're just using the game of football as the catalyst to get us to those things that we're trying to teach the kids.
It started with a simple promise. I'll only coach until I've coached my kids, they said. Then, many seasons come and go. When you're coaching young kids in a sport you love, it can be hard to give it up.
If you would ask me 22 years ago if I was going to stick around and do this for 22 years, I would have laughed, said there's no way, you know. My oldest son now is married and has a 3-year-old daughter and another on the way, and I'm still coaching, right? And he was my first year that I coached. I mean, we literally have seen generations come through here.
I would say the biggest thing with coaching is those bonds and those friendships in between the sidelines with the kids, but also outside the sidelines, teaching the kids, preparing them for life. I've had many people in my life that have supported me. Coaching is the least I could do to kind of pay it forward.
With the help of people like Kurt and his crew, the BYFL will continue to build the stars of tomorrow in the capital city. Stars like the one that still gives Kurt nightmares.
I got to see Carson Wentz beat us in 5th and 6th grade when he played on the Saints.
Looking back on his 25 years with the Broncos, it's moments like these that Kurt is thankful for.
It's worth every second of your time, even though it's a struggle. It's just been a joy to be a part of all of this. It's just a fun thing to do.
In Bismarck, I'm JT Faribault, reporting for your news leader.
Kurt also wanted to make sure we mentioned Herb Speed. He couldn't be there on Sunday, but he's been coaching with this crew for 15 years. Well, for the first time in what seems like forever, NDSU is not in the top 10 of the FCS playoff rankings. The committee released its top 10 today, which is kind of what they're thinking, looking ahead to the postseason, and 24 teams ultimately will be in that playoff bracket.
Are they still going to make the playoffs? That's the question.
If they lose 2 more, they might be in trouble.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
Another round of snow on the way from South Dakota into North Dakota, and that'll affect us by early to mid-evening. The snow gradually tapering off after midnight, but cold for now. and lows near 0 at times.
All right, see you at 10.